Good afternoon, traders. Today's Monday, December 10th, 2012, and we're coming to hear from RJO Futures, myself, Bob Haberkorn, Frank Cholly Senior, and Mike Sabo to talk about the monthly supply-demand grain report number that's coming out tomorrow. Not a lot of fireworks expected. Next month is really going to be the bigger one for the start of the new year, but we are expecting some, things to come out, materialize out of this number. Looks like corn, soybeans pretty neutral going into the number, and beans moving higher. Frank, what are you looking at for tomorrow morning?
Well, Bob, you're right. Generally, this is not the report that is a big market mover, and mainly because we do have that quarterly report early on in January, and that's what the focus will immediately turn to after this report comes out. It'll be forgotten, and we'll start thinking about the January report where we go a little deeper into, production and acres and get our first look at winter wheat acres. And, we've been monitoring the condition. We've talked about this in our other discussions. We're still in a drought. We're a long way, from coming out of it. So I think there's just too many other things going on right now that kind of supersede, tomorrow's report. A surprise would be if, we see another big boost in soybean production. That market's gone through, a nice little bounce recently, and corn and wheat remain flat. So
Yeah, I think where you'll see in this number tomorrow, the play will be keep an eye on the soybeans, corn, wheat. Hasn't been a lot in the headlines lately with what
Very
people.
sideways
Yeah,
action.
sideways action. I think beans will be where you'll see some movement, maybe some opportunity to capitalize and play a range here, because we know the ranges in the beans right now are astronomical on some of these number reports. So with these limits being as high as they are, that's where I would keep an eye on the play. Mike, what are you looking at for the technicals?
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I mean, the corn and the wheat, especially the corn, has been a very sideways market. We saw highs up near, the March corn near the 770 area. So far, it appears that those harvest lows down around the 710, 715 area have been holding up. Corn has recently been pulling back here a little bit, but mostly sideways. So, the strategy really there has been, looking at things like, selling strangles and stuff like that in that market. The beans have been the movers there. And, I'm with you. I mean, I think that, I think the numbers, the things to watch tomorrow, we could see some pretty good moves there possibly in the beans. But I agree with Frank. I think overall it's going to be kind of quiet. I think everyone's waiting until January. You've got the holidays. We could see some surprises out there, but again, the technicals on the corn and the beans right now seem to be a little bit on the oversold side, but we could see a little further weakness there. But I'm not looking for a blowout here to the downside in any three of them. Are you guys?
No, not based off this number.
no, and for the most part, right, wheat and corn, these have been great markets to be writing options,
Yeah.
especially strangles. And I think we're at the lower end of those channels. Obviously, traders are a little apprehensive about letting the market get much cheaper until we get, we start to rebuild the stocks. That's
Yeah.
going to take some time. I think we're going to be at these lofty levels for a while, as long as we don't have a meltdown in the economy, falling off this fiscal cliff,
Right,
or
that's going to look
the
real
Eurozone
interesting.
or China or something that we can't see right now. I'd say grain prices remain at these elevated levels, and from here, soybeans probably do have the best upside potential, especially when you look at the rate of export sales there.
Yeah.
We haven't seen that in our corn and wheat yet, but I think the last report I saw, we're about 25 to 30% ahead of the rate that we were a year ago at this time. So the bean demand is there.
Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, it looks like the high prices in grains, like you said, will sustain for the longer term. Granted, there's no outside market event that comes in to really pull these things down, but it's pretty sustainable. It doesn't seem like, I know when you go to the grocery store now, it's pretty expensive when you're buying groceries or eating out, but market right now is, weathering these high prices pretty well, all things considering, so.
Something else I think is still important to point out is, and talking about here in the Chicagoland area, but this affects most of the Midwest. And here we are, December 10th, we're pushing here. We have very mild temperatures still. This is going to be the longest we've gone here. Now they're talking here without snow here in the Chicagoland area in quite some time. So,
Yeah.
For long-term traders in this market, you got to still be thinking about, we came out of a major drought year. And, and we really haven't seen the soil moisture increase significantly. And we're still looking at, mild temps. I think they're saying this weekend in Chicagoland area, 50 degrees. So the important thing there for, long-term traders to think about is that next year's crop, we've got to get wide, coverage, wide snowfall coverage here in the Midwest and ample amount of rain and snowfall in order to build up the aquifers. Otherwise, next year, look out. I mean, if we stay like this, it could get very interesting for prices here coming spring planting.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that's a really good point because we should have seen this summer's drought coming earlier because of the mild temperatures, the lack of rain. We got excited because in March, we were planting early.
Yep.
And there was no delays in getting the work done, but then we never got that rain either.
Exactly.
And it wasn't until the middle of June that people started to wake up and realize we're in a drought.
Yeah.
And there were early indications, as you point out
Yeah.
now.
And I think
they're still here.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that traders have to be mindful of and keep a close eye on because, if we go through another summer like we had in the shape that we're in already,
Right.
it can make this year's prices look
Right.
tolerable.
We could actually see $10 corn
Yes.
and $20 beans,
Yeah.
like was
they were
predicted
talking
this summer.
about. Yeah, so it'll be interesting. I think that's something that everyone should keep an eye on, and if you're a long-term trader, you should certainly be thinking about that and possibly starting to look at positions now versus later.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And going back with the snow being late, I know you're looking forward to shoveling your driveway, so that'll be coming very soon here. Remember, traders, trading does pose significant risk, is not suitable for all investors. If you have any further questions about tomorrow's number or the grain markets, please feel free to contact any of us here. Remember to follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and happy trading.